Hi, I'm Dr. Lindsey Duncan. First thing I'd like to do is I'd like to welcome all of the Coral Club International distributors. I'm very, very happy to be working with you all, and I look forward to meeting you all very soon. Now, I'm the chairman and the founder of Genesis Today. And Genesis Today has been one of the world leaders, or actually the world leader, in natural superfood nutrition. So we are actually the leaders on the planet, the leading company that sources, that grows, that harvests, that processes, and that actually bottles superfoods. A superfood is a food that it has a super amount of nutrients in it. It's a food that has more nutrients, more protein, more amino acids, more vitamins, more minerals, more nutrients than any other food in the world. What are the top superfoods on the planet? Acai berry, Goji berry, Noni fruit, and Mangosteen fruit. Those are 4 of the top superfoods on the planet. And I'm really, really happy about this new partnership between Genesis Today and Coral Club International. So a little bit about my background. I've been in the natural products nutrition industry my entire professional career. I've actually only been in one industry my entire life. So for 28 years, almost 29 years now, I have only worked in nutrition. So I have a degree in natural medicine, an ND degree. I have a degree in nutrition, which is a CN degree. I have a degree in herbology, and I was very fortunate to work with the world famous Bernard Jensen at Dr. Bernard Jensen Sanitarium in Escondido, California. I worked with Bernard Jensen for 7.5 years. I had nutritional clinics all around the United States, main one being in Santa Monica, California, where I treated a lot of very well-known celebrities. So I worked with the Beatles, Ringo Starr and his wife Barbara Bach. I worked with Tony Dorsett and many of the Dallas Cowboys. I worked with Reggie Bush. I've worked with Demi Moore. I've worked with Courtney Cox. I've worked with President Clinton and Hillary Clinton, his wife. I've worked with Little Richard, the musician. I've worked with Rene Russo, Mel Gibson, and the list of celebrities and personalities goes on and on and on. So why am I so interested as a nutritionist in superfoods? The reason why is because they have such amazing, powerful benefits to our body. When you look at what we're exposed to today, our diet, the toxicity in society, all the things, the unhealthy things that we're exposed to, one of the most important things that we can do is look for food that has high amounts of nutrients in it. High vitamins, high minerals, high antioxidants, and most importantly, high polyphenols. High polyphenols, the things that help our bodies to heal themselves, the strong, powerful benefits from nature. That's what these polyphenols are. Superfoods are the highest form and the highest source of these natural polyphenolic compounds. So the interesting thing about superfoods is if you go to different parts of the world, you'll find 1 or 2 foods, always superfoods, that are the most powerful and the most beneficial food in that society. You're talking about 8,000 to 10,000 years of rich history that these superfoods have. And here's something that's very interesting. Now, finally, modern science has been researching these superfoods for the past 2 to 3 decades. And the interesting thing they're finding is that they found out in clinical trials that these superfoods have unique active compounds in them that are incredibly beneficial to human health. So the Noni fruit has dimancanthol and scopolamine and Noni PP1 and PP2. The Goji has LBP 1, 2, 3, and 4, Lycium barbarum polysaccharides. The mangosteen is rich in really beneficial xanthones. And the acai is rich in natural compounds that are only found in the acai berry. If you go online to like a really reputable medical information center like PubMed or Medline or any of the ones that we use here at Genesis Today, you'll find clinical trials done on animals, clinical trials done on humans, many clinical trials. And I've put together a list, an actual binder or a library of clinical trials that have been done on acai, where there's at least 100 clinical trials that have been done on goji, where you can find at least 100 clinical trials that have been done on mangosteen, where you can find at least 100, and clinical trials that have been done on noni, where also at least 100 have been done. And some of these clinical trials have been done at very reputable universities, like the University of Florida in Gainesville, or the University of Hawaii in Honolulu, and universities all around the world that are continuing to do what? Continuing to research why these superfoods are so beneficial, why they've been used for so many thousands of years, and why they work so well. I want to give you a couple of really important points about superfoods and what makes a superfood a superfood. One of the things is that all superfoods are pretty much survival plants. Now, what is a survival plant? A survival plant is a plant that can survive very difficult and very harsh environments. Environments where you or I would die in an hour or 2 hours. The goji bush can survive forever. The noni tree can survive forever. The acai can survive forever. So what they do, and it's just really interesting, is that nature has the ability to defend itself. And superfoods, these plants, have the ability to release certain compounds that protect them. They protect them from bugs, they protect them from attack, they protect them from the weather, they protect them from the environment. And it's this release of these natural compounds in these superfoods that we want in our body. This is what makes them so powerful, because they spend their life fighting. They spend their life defending. They spend their life, their entire life, these plants, these trees, trying to stay alive. And when you do that, you release natural defense compounds that are good for you. Why liquid? I'll tell you right now, as a naturopathic doctor and a certified nutritionist, nothing is more important than drinking your supplements. When you take liquid nutritional supplements, they are always better than tablets. I never take tablets. I very rarely take capsules, and if I do, I'll take vegetarian capsules, and I'll take capsules with no excipients or binders and no flow agents. But my choice always, first and foremost, is liquid. So when you look at what we have in these products, we have only acai, nothing else. Only noni, nothing else. Only goji, nothing else. And only mangosteen and nothing else. We don't add water. We don't add fruit juice. We don't add anything to dilute it. We don't add anything to make it weaker. We don't add anything to make it cheaper. We put in these bottles only 100% pure, golden, wild harvested superfood. And that's it. Studies show that liquid supplements are over 95% more absorbed, more bioavailable by the human body. I have x-rays of patients who have actually taken tablets, and the tablets have lodged in their colon. You can actually see in the x-ray the tablets that have lodged in people's colon. This never happens with liquids. It can't, because the liquid is absorbed into the bloodstream immediately. Okay, here's how we take the products. I always line up a shot glass in the morning in my kitchen, and I take 2 ounces of goji, 2 ounces of noni, 2 ounces of mangosteen, and 2 ounces of acai. And I just shoot each one after another. Doesn't matter if you take it with food. I like to take mine on an empty stomach. You don't have to take 2 ounces. 1 ounce is a really good dose. I like to take a super dose. So I take 2 ounces of each one in the morning, don't take it during the day. Then when I come home at night, not too late, because it can give me energy and keep me up, I'll take 1 or 2 more ounces of each one of the superfoods. And that's how I do it. First thing in the morning on an empty stomach, last thing in the evening on an empty stomach, or before dinner on an empty stomach. Let's talk about the most important point now, how to use these products to make us feel better. Now we have to be careful here because we don't want to make any illegal claims. We don't want to claim that one of these products cures cancer, because they don't. What we want to use these for is nutritional supplementation. We want to supplement our diet. So, what do we use the Noni for? The Noni is best used to help support purification of the liver, purification of the digestive system, purification of the blood. It helps to enhance digestion because it's a digestive bitter. Noni is kind of like the fire in the engine. It heats the engine up. It heats up the digestion. It gets the digestion working much, much better. Noni is fantastic for purification of the gallbladder. Noni is fantastic also to support the health of our lungs. And if you look at a clinical trial that was done at the University of Hawaii, you'll see Noni's effect and its ability to support the health of our lungs. Now, the second superfood, which is the acai, which comes from Brazil. Now, acai is known as the beauty berry in Brazil, and here's why. Acai, when it's consumed in its pure form, is very high in protein, amino acids, and most importantly, essential fatty acids. Now, the essential fatty acids are great for our skin. So when we consume these essential fatty acids and we absorb them because they're in liquid form, they make it to our skin, and it causes our skin to become supple and moist. We also notice about 2 weeks after taking the acai, our hair becomes softer. What's this from? It's from the polyphenols, the antioxidants, and most importantly, it's from the essential fatty acids. Now this is really, really important. Acai is also good for energy. It's good for endurance. And all of the models, well, not all of the models, but many of the models and many of the athletes from Brazil, they consume acai for beauty, for skin, and for energy and endurance. Acai is also called the Viagra of the Amazon. Now, it takes a while for you to notice a difference there, but that is one of the nicknames that it's been given. Now let's go to mangosteen. So mangosteen comes from Southeast Asia, mainly Thailand and Indonesia. And mangosteen has been nicknamed the queen of all fruits. And it's an absolutely powerful, fantastic fruit. And it has an active compound in it called xanthones with an X. And the xanthones are really mainly found in the pericarp. And the pericarp is not the sweet fruit. The pericarp is the skin and the rind. It's the outer part of the fruit that actually protects the fruit. And the pericarp is burgundy or red in color. And the pericarp is loaded with xanthones. And there's some really, really strong clinical trials that suggest that the xanthones that are in the mangosteen, mainly alpha mangosteen and gamma mangosteen, are really beneficial for 3 things. Number 1, to help fight infection. Number 2, to help support inflammation. When we get inflammation in the joints, the neck, the lower back, the knees, the hips, the feet, the ankle, all of the inflammation that we have in our body, the mangosteen helps to support that and helps to calm that down. And the third thing that the mangosteen is really good for is to help support purification of the body and mainly our kidneys. Those are the 3 main things that we use the mangosteen for. Mangosteen is good for people who drink a lot of alcohol, as is the Noni, also very good for people who overdrink, overconsume alcohol. So, mangosteen, the queen of all fruits. And last but not least is the goji. Now, goji has a history dating back over 4,600 years. It's been nicknamed the happy berry, and goji was first written about on the back of turtle shells and was known and recognized as one of the first medicines in society, in humanity. It's just the history of goji is absolutely amazing. Now here's what goji has in it. Goji's got some really good, strong clinical trials, and it has active compounds that are found in no other food on the planet. None. And they're called polysaccharides, and mainly they're Lycium barbarum polysaccharides. And the ones that they've uncovered is LBP 1, 2, 3, 4, and now through our research, we've uncovered a fifth one, which is LBP number 5. Here's what goji is used for. It's used by the Chinese military for decades for energy and endurance. It's been used by Chinese Olympic athletes for decades for energy and endurance. It's been nicknamed the happy berry, so we know what it does. It helps to enhance and support a positive and happy mood, a positive and happy outlook on life. It's also very good to support the liver and actually helps to produce betaine in the liver, which helps to detoxify and metabolize our food. 2 important liver functions. And last but not least, the goji is especially beneficial for the eyes because it has carotenoids in it. It has zeaxanthin, it has cryptoxanthin, it has lutein, it has all of the important key factors and nutrients that we need to have strong and healthy and youthful eyes. Next thing I'd like to talk about is where Genesis today really leads the industry and excels. And it's in the processing. Now, it would take me hours to explain how we process these fruits. But I will tell you this, we are so committed to history. We are so committed to tradition. So it is absolutely imperative that we follow tradition and how these superfoods have been processed for the last several hundred years, and in some cases for the last 1,000 years. Here's what I mean. Our competition will take goji or noni or mangosteen or acai, and they'll turn it into a powder, and then they'll mix it with water and reconstitute it when they get it back to the United States for bottling. So they take a powder, and when you take something and turn it into a powder, oftentimes you lose many of the active constituents or active compounds. And then when you dry it and you bring it back into the country and you mix it with water, basically what you're doing is you're killing the compounds and then you're reactivating what's left. We don't do that. And then what other companies will do is they'll start adding sweet juices to make it taste good, because superfoods are not very high in sugar, so they don't taste great. They're not supposed to taste great. They're supposed to be therapeutic. They're supposed to be beneficial. They're not supposed to taste like a soda or like apple juice or like grape juice. And so this is what these companies do. They mix grape juice, they mix apple juice, they mix blueberry juice, they mix all these sweet juices, and then at the end of the day, you're not getting very many of the actual superfood. What does Genesis today do? What does Genesis do for Coral Club International? We take the superfood, we ferment it, we age it, we process it, we keep it liquid, we let it become stronger and more concentrated, we ship it liquid, frozen or liquid, in the belly of a container, in a refrigerator or in a freezer, bring it into the U.S., test it for any microbiological contamination, thaw it, process it, gently flash pasteurize it, and then put it inside the bottle with absolutely nothing added to it. No preservatives, no chemicals, no dyes, no colors, no water, no sweeteners, nothing. Absolutely nothing is added to our superfoods. And that is unusual. It's very expensive to do. It's very difficult to do. And it is exactly the way it was processed thousands of years ago. I'd like to give you an example. When I was traveling throughout the South Pacific, I uncovered something. It took me about 6 months to realize this is how it was done. But everybody thought that Noni was just juiced and then shipped over and then bottled. It's not. The proper way to produce Noni is to take Noni and put it inside these very large vats, wooden vats. And it has to be ripe Noni, and it has to be washed. And you layer it, and you layer the Noni, and then you put the leaves on top. And you come back 2 weeks later, and you put a second layer, and you put the leaves on top. You come back 2 weeks later, you put a third layer in the vat, and you put the leaves on top. And then you put a fourth layer, and then 2 weeks later, you put a fifth layer. And then you know what you do? You let it sit, and you let the Noni age itself. It's actually a self-fermentation process. And after a while, it gets darker, it gets stronger, and you do this for 21 weeks. This is so difficult to do, but it's the right way to do it, and it's the way that the people in the South Pacific did it for the last 2,000 years. And after 21 weeks of aging, then you ship it, and then you bottle it. And we did analysis that showed from when we first started the Noni on day 1, day 2, to the 21 week, 22 weeks later, the Noni, in some cases, with some of the active compounds, became double, over 100% stronger with certain key, important active compounds. Now, this is only one example. This is what we do with Noni. We follow tradition with acai. We follow tradition with mangosteen by scooping out the pericarp to get the xanthones that no other company does. We follow tradition with goji by pressing the goji and utilizing the seeds, the golden, powerful seed, which is the next generation. Nobody does this. We follow tradition. We seek and find tradition, and we follow exactly the way these superfoods have been processed for thousands of years. And that's the most potent and the most powerful thing that Genesis Today does, and that Genesis Today does for Coral Club International. So I was asked to talk about the competition for superfoods. And to be honest with you, we don't have any competition. We have companies that are acting like they're selling superfoods. We have companies that are mixing powder with water, but we don't view that as superfoods. We have companies that could try to compete with us that sell superfoods mixed with a bunch of sweet juices, but we don't view that as competition. I can honestly tell you that in the United States, Genesis Today owns over 75% of the entire superfood market with these products. And I will say this, nobody processes the way we do. Nobody goes and finds the farmers, negotiates with the farmers, actually builds the relationship with the farmers, makes sure that the product and the food is organic, that it's wild harvested, that there's no chemicals, that there's no heavy metals, there's no preservatives. We don't use any of that in the soil. We don't use any of that in the processing. We don't use any of that in the shipping. We don't use any of that in the bottling. We don't use any of that on the label, off the label, in any of our products. Our products are 100% pure. They have we test for heavy metal contamination. We test for microbiological contamination. We test for chemicals. We test for preservatives. We test for anything that can damage or harm human health. We test for, and we don't find it because we are experts at going straight from the soil to the stomach. And no other competitor can say that. They can make it taste better, they can make it cheaper, they can maybe market it better, but they cannot produce 100% pure product with no additives like Genesis Today can, and like we're doing for Coral Club International. So, I end with this thought. I look forward to working with all of you. I look forward to coming to Russia. I'm going to be doing a seminar there, and I look forward to helping you build your business with some of the most powerful and some of the most authentic and some of the most pure food-based nutritional supplements on planet Earth. Thank you very much.